Well, this could be considered rather alarming. Sapphire does the unthinkable and puts a 16-pin connector on an AMD based RX 9070 XT video card. So why is this such a concern? Well, it's due to the 12VH PWR connector. And if you remember the 1490, this connector had all kinds of problems with this video card because it melted. Now, reports are that it's happening again with the 5090 in particular. However, I've heard reports also of the cable melting on the 5080. Why is this happening? Well, it's due to the cable design, the regulation of power through each of the pins on this connector, and also the high wattage that is required for these high-end video cards. Now, to be fair, the 5090 uses a lot of power, around 600 watts, 575, 580 watts. That's a lot to be delivered through a single cable. I think it would have been a better idea to have multiple 8-pin connectors, but that doesn't look pretty. And, you know, it's got to look pretty. That's important. But for most people, we throw the card inside of our computer system and we forget about it. You might, stare at it first when you get it and go, oh, how pretty it is with the window and the lights and all the rest of it. But trust me, after a few weeks, after a few months, you'll probably never look inside of the case again. So it doesn't really matter. I would rather myself personally have things work than not work. And certainly I don't want things inside the computer system melting. So the 5090 uses roughly around 600 watts of power, 575, 580 watts of power. And the 9070 XT only uses around 300 watts of power. So that's half the amount. So the cable should be fine because it's not requiring nearly as much power. Hopefully that's the case. Now, this might deter some people because if you're looking at getting an RX 9070 XT video card and you go through the specs and you see this connector listed, you might have second thoughts based upon the history of this connector. However, like I just mentioned, the cable should have no problem delivering 300 watts of power, and you should not have any melting concerns. And I stress, you should not, because I don't know. I don't have this video card connected, and I don't know what might happen to the cable and if it will melt. Reports will come out, and while I'm releasing this in early March 2025, if you went out and purchased this video card in the future and you are having problems with the connector, let us know. Now, what Sapphire has done here that's very pretty is hide the connector and cables. Generally speaking, you would have, like, for example, cables sticking out the top of the video card. Well, that's not the case here. From what I understand, it comes from the bottom, it gets connected into here, and then you cover it up like this. Now, this is an amazing routing design in the sense of keeping things uncluttered. But remember, the cable comes from the bottom and it has two major bend points because you're going to have to bend it. Like here, for example, when it gets connected, it has to go down and then out. So that might be a concern. It might not. Now, from what I understand here, this video card actually has built-in fuses. So this is great because, well, it's another level of protection. And if there's a power surge or an excess amount of current, the fuse should blow. So maybe Sapphire's design here is, not so bad overall. I do worry a little bit about the bends in that cable and it coming from the bottom, but it looks really, really sexy. The combination of low power consumption, active cooling, as well as the built-in fuses, well, hopefully it would mitigate all the issues with the connector, which we're so concerned about, because when anyone hears 12 VH PWR, they run away. So what are your thoughts on this video card and the overall design?